This is your no bullshit guide to a happier life. Quick, but not necessarily easy tips to help you to squeeze every last drop of enjoyment out of your business and your life. My name is Helen Calvert. I'm a coach, a business owner and a parent, and I'm so happy to be here with you. I do swear occasionally, as the title suggests, so pop in your headphones if I'm not safe for little ears. Ready to go? Let's do this. This episode is sponsored by Rebecca Collier, the Parent's Companion. Peaceful parenting sets out a clear path towards a more connected, loving family life, using proven techniques and science-based practical approaches that really work. Children don't come with a handbook. Some aspects of parenting are universal. The sleeplessness, the is this normal moments, the sometimes challenging behaviour, the mess. However, each family will experience them uniquely. Rebecca supports families to develop an approach built around what each member needs. The Parent's Companion is a space for you to feel comfortable, confident that you're accessing support based on expertise, experience, and the latest childhood development research. Rebecca combined the latest science, particularly around emotion coaching and peaceful parenting, with traditional child development expertise and experience of working intimately within families. Find out more at theparentscompanion.co.uk or via the show notes for this episode. Hello and welcome to this episode where we're talking about help, I'm overwhelmed. So you've done all the right things. You've followed all my hints and tips. You've got your task list rocking and rolling. All your projects are set out and you know how you're picking out your to-do list for each day. You've been going for it. And yet it's still all got on top of you. It just feels all wrong. And the overwhelm is real. And the whole task list, you just hate it. Yes, I have been there. Do not worry, I know the way out. When nothing is working and it all just feels like a mess, you look at it and there's no motivation, you can't remember why you're doing any of this stuff, it's time to start again. What do I mean by start again? I mean that it is time to redo the system. Because no matter what people will tell you, and we touched on this when I talked about different apps that we can use, but no matter what people will tell you, there is no one system that is perfect for everyone's project and task list. And there is no one system that will work for you forever, because that's not how our brains work. We like novelty, we like fresh starts. That's why the first blank page of a new notebook is so exciting. It's like, oh, I can start again. And you can start again anytime. But particularly if you are feeling like it's just not working, it's time to start again. So you might need to change the app. If you're using Asana, why not try Trello? Or if you've been using an Excel spreadsheet, why not get some giant pieces of paper? Or whatever it might be, whatever you've been using, what now feels exciting? What now feels interesting? Let's try and make this thing look vaguely exciting. You might need a new system. You might want to make it look pretty. So sometimes I will get giant pieces of paper or a big roll of paper. That's good if you kind of roll a big roll out on the floor. And I'll just write stuff down in beautiful coloured pens. And suddenly the whole thing looks way more interesting and therefore way more doable. You might want to make the tasks sound nicer. You might be looking at particularly recurring tasks. You've seen this task in your system every day or every week, and oh God, it's that again. Well, let's make it sound a bit more interesting, or let's remind ourselves why we're doing it. So rather than make that phone call yet again, why not phone that nice person, or make a call with a coffee, or make a call so that you can push further towards your goal of whatever it is. Obviously we don't want to make these tasks super long, but change the wording. You'd be amazed the difference it makes when you change the wording on some of these tasks that you're so bored of looking at. That can make a difference. When we are redoing the whole thing, so it might be that just one project needs a bit of a refresh, or just this week you need it to look different, then you're going to go back to the old system, which is all perfectly valid. Again, you know me, I'm a big fan of just doing what works. But if you need to redo the whole thing, like this is it, I'm done, I need to start again, take yourself somewhere nice and spend some time doing it. If you need a new journal or a new planner, that's okay. It is totally fine to spend money on that kind of stuff. There's a reason that planners and journals and wall charts, they're so exciting and they look so promising and they're branded so beautifully. There's a reason that they excite you. It's because they genuinely do help, because they make the task list seem interesting again. You get to put it in a whole new book with new pages and new stickers, and it's wonderful. There are no prizes given out for sticking with whatever system you decided on back in January. There are no medals for sticking with it. Just change it up. Why not? The only aim here is to reach our goals. We reach our goals by doing the tasks that are part of the projects that we decided on because they're going to help us to get to where we want to be. Whatever system or set of new pens or exciting notebook help you to do that, fantastic. Last episode, we talked about remembering our why. And whatever helps you to get to that why, go for it. Get on with it. Now, there's a particular thing that I have done a few times if the big roll of paper hasn't worked and if the overwhelm is real, when your brain just is like spinning. I have recruited the assistance of my wonderful boyfriend, Alex, to help me to redo the whole thing. Now, before I go into how we have done that together, this brings us to our mindset block alert for this episode. And that is, Helen, I can't possibly take the time, or worse, take other people's time to redo all this. I should just be able to use the perfectly good system I already have in place. Okay, let's just throw out all of those shoulds and can'ts and all this ridiculousness, okay? Your goals, as I say, which we reconnected to last episode, your goals are worth it. You are worth it. Your peace of mind is worth it. Your business is worth it. Of course, you can take time to redo the system that is basically the basis of your working days, the really important thing that keeps you on track. And of course, you can ask other people to help you. There's absolutely no reason to not ask for assistance, especially if you're going to get assistance from someone who might need the same assistance from you at some point. But, anyone who cares about you is not going to want to see you struggling and overwhelmed. So, of course, you can do these things. And you probably should, because if you're completely overwhelmed, you're not going to get anything done. And then, madness ensues. So, so how do I do this with somebody? If I can't figure it out by myself or I simply don't want to, what do Alex and I do to unfuck the to-do list? Well, firstly, I take everything out and give it to him, which is just hugely cathartic in and of itself. So, he being in America, if you don't know my story, Alex lives in the States and we see each other a handful of times a year. So usually we're doing this on a video call. He's got document open on his computer and I don't care what that document is. It could be anything. It's his book. All I need to know is that he's saving what I'm giving him. So I literally take a task and delete it. Oh, I know, right? It takes trust. I delete it from my system because I'm sick of looking at it. And I tell him what it is. And he has 3, columns or sections or whatever you want to call it. And he will put the task into one of those sections and I'll tell him which section. And those sections are quick tasks, just the little bitty things that theoretically should take 2 minutes if we could be bothered to do them. So the quick tasks, the errands, so things that actually require like leaving the desk, buy envelopes, post this thing, whatever it might be. And then the difficult stuff. So the stuff that is going to take a bit of headspace or a bit of time or both. And I go through my list and I delete stuff and he puts it into his sections. So I end up with a blank slate. Oh, the beauty of a blank slate. And then I start to rebuild. So instead of trying to stick with what I've been battling through when I'm overwhelmed and it's not working anymore and I'm bored of it and it's just all got on top of me, I start again. And I look at, let's say, the next day. So we're doing this on a Tuesday. I look at what Wednesday has in store. I've got 3 appointments on a Wednesday. So I'm really only going to be able to do small stuff. And probably I had some big stuff in there because I'd put it in before I got the appointment and it's all just got too much. But now I can add stuff in according to what's actually happening. So I can say, right, what's the first quick task you've got on your list, Alex? And he'll tell me, and I'll say, right, I'm putting that in for tomorrow. And I put it in and he scrubs it off. And then I have a look and say, right, Thursday afternoon, I've got some clear time. It's going to be quiet. What's the first difficult task on the list? He tells me, I put it in for Thursday. He scrubs it off. So I end up with all my tasks back in a much happier, more sensible way that is actually going to work. And all he's done is literally written stuff down where I've asked him to write it and then deleted it when I've asked him to take it off again. So he has expended 0 headspace. And assist, if I'm really in a pickle, he could say, well, why don't you do this or that? Very rarely does he need to. I just need somebody else to be there and to literally take stuff from me so it's not mine anymore, and then I can take it back one at a time. That is just so, for my brain, that is so helpful. Now, you might be thinking, what an absolute load of rubbish. We don't all have the same brains, but I have to tell you that this works extremely well for me. And it's a little bit like body doubling that we've talked about before, just having somebody else there. But in this case, they are actually helping with the task. They're not just sitting there while you do it. Now, this is also something you can do with a professional. So if you have a virtual assistant, they should be able to do this with you. If you book in a 1-hour headspace coaching session with me, I can do this with you. Unfucking people's to-do lists is one of my favourite things to do on a one-off coaching session. I absolutely love doing it because, especially when it's other people's to-do lists, I find it easy. So people can come with their whole big messy basket of everything and we make it into a coherent to-do list. So there are people who will do this with you, professionally. But as I say, there should be no problem in just asking a friend or a family member to just sit with you while you sort things through in your head. Because we are all going to get overwhelmed at times and we're all going to get bored with whatever system we're using because nothing works forever. And it doesn't mean that you've done something wrong or that you're rubbish or that you're lazy or any of that other marvellous self-talk that we love to throw into the mix just to make life more difficult for ourselves. It just means you're bored of it now. And even if the spreadsheet just needs to be in a different colour or with a different title or just something to make it more interesting, add some visuals. Trello is brilliant for that. You can add visuals very simply to your tasks in Trello. You can in Asana as well. But, all of these systems have ways of making things more interesting. They have different views or, like I say, just get your nice pens out and get a blank sheet of paper. But there is no shame in needing to permanently or temporarily just throw out what you're doing. Because if you're sick of the sight of it, again, it's not going to be motivating, is it? All we're trying to do is reach our goals by completing our projects. And to do that, we need to do the tasks. And to do the tasks, we need to feel motivated and feel happy and healthy. And we need the tasks to look vaguely interesting. So if we have reconnected with our why, perhaps now, again, I think this episode is going out in September. So as I said last time, it always feels like a new year. Now would be a great time, wouldn't it, to just redo everything. And, as I say, if you're doing it by yourself, or even if you are doing it with a friend, why not go somewhere nice? Take yourself off somewhere nice, make a day of it, make it something interesting. The question always should be, how can I make this more pleasant for myself? Because if we can make something more pleasant for ourselves, it's easier, it's more likely to get done, and more likely to reach our goals. I know I make it sound terribly simple. We're just going to do the tasks that finish the projects that reach our goals, but that really is what we're trying to do every day. And I know that the world trips us up, but if we can have a system that makes us feel happy and interested, then that is what we should do. So basically, I'm 100% giving you permission to go and buy that fabulous new planner. Even if it only has 3 months left on it for this year, go for it. Whatever helps you to get shit done, because overwhelm is the enemy of productivity. And whatever we can do to calm our minds, reignite our interest in the stuff that we're trying to get done, that is the way forward. And that way, we can be excessively kind to ourselves by creating systems we actually enjoy using. And then we can squeeze every last drop of enjoyment out of our businesses and our lives. Speak to you next time. Thank you so much for listening. Did you know that my first book is now available to purchase online? Check out the show notes for details of how to get your hands on a copy. If you enjoyed this episode, I'd be so grateful if you could leave me a review, and don't forget to subscribe so you know when new episodes are up. If you would like to work with me one-to-one or follow more of my content, you can find out how in the show notes. See you next time.